New Jersey 101.5, our own radio station. Not New York, not Philadelphia. Proud to be New Jersey.
New Jersey 101.5.
Coming up on 9:39 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea with you till 10 o'clock this morning. Talking Jersey, taking your calls, 1-800-283-101.5. Now, we know that tens of millions of people have already voted in this year's election, but in 6 days, the election day, the formal day, will be upon us, actually 5. And it's right around the corner. And, you know, of course, everyone knows the president, President Trump running for re-election, Joe Biden running to take him out from the Democrats. What you may not know is there are a slew of other candidates that are running. And one caught my interest. Her name is Jo Jorgensen. She is the Libertarian candidate for president. And, you know, although there's no real history of success among third-party candidates, it is good sometimes to hear another perspective. And I thought, you're not going to see her on the debate stage. And despite the fact that this is a woman leading what many consider a major influence, the Libertarian Party in American politics, Jo Jorgensen does not get very much press play, and I thought you ought to meet her. Jo, welcome to New Jersey 101.5. How are you?
So glad to be here, and thank you for doing your job.
Well, so let me ask you, Jo, and I mean that. You know, I know there's a lot of skepticism about third parties, myself included, and, you know, full disclosure, I'm a supporter of the president for re-election, but I think the Libertarian Party has something to contribute for sure when it comes to economic liberty, civil liberty. What is your position? And for those folks that have not voted yet, especially, why cast a vote for you for president? And you know, what would you offer? Let's say, just put the scenario in everyone's head. You could win. What's the Jo Jorgensen plan for this country?
Well, the first thing would be, partly because this is something I could do without Congress, is to start bringing the troops home. We absolutely need a strong defense, and I want to turn America into one giant Switzerland, armed and neutral. However, we don't need to be in the 150 different countries around the world that we are. It's making us less safe, not more safe. And we spend more on military than the next 7 countries combined. That's absurd. And people would see more dollars in their...
Let me ask you something. How do you deal with China? You know, China has a larger military. They've got 2 million troops in their military. They've got a larger navy, largest navy in the world. How do you deal with a potential future enemy of China from a libertarian perspective to make America armed and neutral?
Well, I suggest we not be enemies with China. You know, some historians say that the reason Japan bombed us, which got us into World War II, was the tariffs, the trade wars that we were in. So first of all, we stopped that. And you look, I mean, Japan's not going to bomb us now because we buy so many Toyotas and Hondas. We don't see that kind of aggression. You know, you tend to not bomb your best customer, put it that way. And if we were good trading partners with China, they would have no reason to bomb us either.
Jo, that said, though, I mean, the Chinese have shown that they've put themselves in a position of being our enemy when it comes to the intellectual property they steal, the cyber attacks, etc. And now, you know, many would say whatever happened with in that lab in Wuhan, whether it was an out of control military experiment or it was done on purpose, or if it was just poor protocols that got the virus released, China certainly has not acted like a friend. Are you saying that our actions are what causes the problems in the world?
Well, in part they do. And let me say, I mean, what they did is absolutely not justified. But notice they weren't, you know, we used to call the Russia, the bear, how we would poke the bear. And somebody on my team suggested now we're poking a panda bear over there. Notice they weren't doing any of that until Trump started all of his. But I'd like to go back to even 9/11. And again, there's absolutely no justification for flying planes into buildings. But what bin Laden was able to do when we were over there was point to us and tell the people, hey, look, we've had U.S. said they would be here temporarily. They're still here. They said they'd be gone by this date. They lied to us. They're over here. They're taking over our religion, taking over our laws. And it was a lot easier for him to use us as a recruiting tool, the fact that we were in there occupying their territory, than if we had been gone. Now, you can't stop every madman from flying planes into buildings, but that's, but we made it easier.
I mean, Joe, all due respect, it sounds like you're a little bit justifying the attacks on America as you're basing it on our foreign policy aggression, which actually has over history has been to defend America, defend American citizens, defend our trade routes and our trading partners. I think that's a bit of a stretch, don't you?
I'm not justifying it. What I'm saying is it made it easier. If we had been over here, he couldn't have said, look at the Americans, they're in our towns. Look at the Americans, they're over here, near our mosques. Look at the Americans, they're lying to us.
All right, so let's turn, in the little bit of time I have left, let's talk about COVID policy, the lockdowns. Do you favor a national mask mandate?
Absolutely not. And this is where the Libertarian Party believes that instead of voting in one person where we all vote on one thing, where it's a one-size-fits-all, that half the people are unhappy. Instead, every day we get to vote with our feet. So if you want to wear a mask, you can shop at at Walmart or one of the many other stores that require a mask, regardless of the law. And if you don't want to wear a mask, then we believe you should be able to shop at a store that doesn't require a mask. Instead of, the brawls that we've seen people get into, the fights, the shopping carts and everything else, trying to have everybody live under one thing. And this is the one big difference between libertarians and everybody else. Everybody else says, okay, we all got to agree on the retirement plan. We're all going to have the same retirement plan. We're all going to agree on the kind of education we have in our town. We're all going to agree on, do we have vaccines or not? And libertarians say that people have different choices. They should be able to make their own choice.
Okay. All right. Well, Joe, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Your website is jo20.com. Good luck to you, and I appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Right,
bye-bye.
Take care. That is Joe Jorgensen, Libertarian candidate for president. All right. I'll give you my wrap-up after Fast Traffic Instant Weather coming up next. It's 9:46.
Jersey news and Jersey views live here.
New Jersey 101.5.